You know we all die,
This is fun.
but the goal isn't to live forever, but to create something that will.
2, 3,
Here we go.
Infinite lives. We got infinite lives. Never say never. We're gonna live forever.
Alright. Peace everybody. Welcome. My name is Substantial and I have a special guest here, the brother Randall, aka Mega Ran. How many aliases do you have? That is a random question.
I tried to get rid of the aliases, but I think at some point it just kind of, they start to stick if you release a project under one name and then another. That was a tough thing for me,
Right.
Getting the name thing
Yeah.
to a point where I felt comfortable, where the name I felt fully reflected me and was easy to be found on the internet.
I feel you. So Mega Ran is it, or?
Mega Ran's it. I mean,
Okay.
I feel like Random's music and personality encompass Mega Ran, but I think it's important to keep them all in one name. You know, I'm not big enough to have two separate names and identities and franchises running under the same, machine or, which is just literally me running on a hamster wheel. So and the name Random, the word Random, it just came up as so many different bands had that name.
Right.
And it was just making it tough to distinguish myself. And with it being an everyday term, I don't know if you go through this with Substantial.
Yes. Absolutely.
But if someone just says, hey, I want to find a substantial musician or something like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like you have to make that name and it's a lot of work. And sometimes you wind up making the name for someone else. You know what I mean? And it's like, wait, what? So there was a boy band, there was a chiptune artist, there were like 3 other people with the name Random. And even now, if a person named Random drops an album, it gets lumped under me. And I'm like, I'm trying to get rid of that.
Yeah.
So that was where Mega Ran came from.
Okay.
It was like, I gotta do something different.
Gotcha.
Be something different.
All right. So you're a former teacher. You worked in used to work in education, similar to me. How long did you do that for?
I taught in Philly for about 3 years and then in Phoenix about 3 years. So 6 years total. I did a 6-year bid.
Okay.
I did
What
my
subject?
time. I did mostly English, did a little social studies, history, but a lot of reading, language arts, things like that with middle school kids.
That's dope. Yeah, man. What was it? I feel like I noticed sometimes that because with me working in education as well, and I also work with middle school kids. I feel like there's a lot of artists like that kind of come from that background. What do you think that is?
Well, I think it's the most flexible position, to attempt to have a second career out of, because you get your nights and weekends to work on things. Like if you want to be a creative, I think teaching, working between 8 and 5 is a good time because most musicians or any type of artist is not functioning during those hours. So you can get a lot of things done at night. I used to do shows. I would stay up all night in studio sessions. And weekends I would go travel and do shows and mini tours and things. And summers I would go and tour. So it gave me the time to be flexible to kind of learn the ropes. And I just think that in general, especially an English teacher, I think you're playing with language a lot all day long.
Right.
And I think, and you're dealing with, at least with me, with middle school kids. And I think hip hop kind of is the language of these kids today. Hip hop and video games. And if you can speak the language, you can reach them in a really strong way. So it made an advantage for me. I think going into music, it was like, oh, I already speak the language.
Right. Yeah, that's dope. So I kind of feel like at this particular moment in history, nerd culture has kind of found a home with things like Blerdcon, which we're at right now, and in general. So what do you think that, why do you think that is versus when we were younger? Because it's very different now.
It's very different, man. I went to my first Comic-Con in 2007, and I was probably the only black person there, you know what I mean, or a person of color. And I realized just seeing, I think through over time, we've seen that not just the content creators or consumers rather, but also the creators have changed their colors and ethnicities and gender. Where now women and men of all marginalized groups are now no longer ashamed of what was considered to be nerd culture in a negative way. Right. You know what I mean? I would play video games on the block and my friends would be like, oh, you doing that nerd shit. You better get out of here with that, And I used to have to hide my comic books and my things and that that nature when I came, onto the block. So now, it's something that is embraced. So I think it just took a matter of us getting comfortable with ourselves, as people of color, not fighting to fit into these stereotypes, but fighting to get out of them and break them, and I think that's been it's been a fun journey to watch, not without its, bumps and bruises, but I think that, I took a lot of knocks, I got chased home from school a few times for being a nerd, you know what I mean? So, but now, we kind of crawled so these kids can walk, and now I feel good about the fact that kids can be literally whatever they want to be and into whatever they want, and there'll be no scrutiny. Like, weird kids are in, which I think is dope. Like, I love it. So, it almost got me a little teary-eyed walking through Blerdcon and just seeing the generations of people of color all embracing cosplay, embracing their inner nerd that was probably suppressed, you know what I mean, when they were young. So it's really dope to see.
Yeah, no, that's very real. I definitely, I was talking to someone recently and I was just saying how it's like, especially if you're a comic book fan, I mean, it's like a great time to be alive, you know what I mean, in terms of what's happening in film, and then how, like, seeing like what happened with Black Panther happen on the level that it happened on, it's just been really interesting to see all of that go down. So what are you listening to right now?
Man, I'm all over the place in my musical tastes.
Sure.
Gosh, the last thing I played all the way through, I really love Samus. She's an incredible,
she's dope. Really dope.
Rapper, producer, PhD student, extremely inspiring. We've been on a bunch of tours together, but still that I feel like her music and her outlook just totally inspires me. And
Samus, you're dope.
Yeah, super dope. Open Mike Eagle, big fan of his stuff.
Dope as well. Y'all touring as well, right?
Yeah, we toured back in the day. It's funny, everyone I've named has come from education, which is like pretty wild. Mike was a teacher as well. So yeah, it's just something about that, man. Man, I listened to a band called Sylvan Esso. It's a man and wife. I think they're married or maybe a couple, and they make really cool electro pop fun stuff. I just discovered this band in London called Caro Benito. It's chiptune pop music, so like it sounds like it came out of an Atari machine, and then there's like this really cute Asian voice over top of it, just like singing these dope melodies. So yeah, I find inspiration in everything. So there's usually in my playlist at any given time, there's like one rap album, one chiptune album, one instrumental album, one classical album, one jazz album, and one R&B album of some sort. So yeah, it's been fun just experimenting and finding new stuff. Spotify is like a godsend for that. Yeah. To just be able to put on something and be like, all right, well, I like this. What else would I like? And then eventually get put on the new stuff, which is dope.
I love Discover Weekly. Yeah, it's definitely put me on this. It
works.
Yeah, it really does. So, I know, even though we talk about a lot of different genres, I'm a, MC like you. Top 5, man. Gotta rely on top 5.
Oh my God, dude.
No pressure.
All pressure. So here's what happens with top 5 lists and why I've kind of stopped doing them. I've had to retire to my top 5 because it changes so much, man.
Yes.
The more we learn about music, the more we learn about style, and then unfortunately the more we learn about outside the mic extracurricular either activities or opinions, it can really alter how we feel about people, you know what I mean? Right. So if my top 5 at one point may have contained someone who I find out later is abusive to his wife or children, you know what I mean? Or it's like you gotta roll, you know, or you're co-signing illicit activities with minors, and it's like, all right, gotta go. So it moves around a lot. So with that being said,
stop stalling.
I gotta give the top 5 without stalling. This is all time.
Okay.
Is that what you're asking?
Yes. All time. Okay. Anytime I ask
ever to rap.
Yes.
Okay. Top 5 ever to rap. I'm gonna say Rakim.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Jay-Z.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Ice Cube.
Okay.
Andre 3000.
Okay.
And did I say Jay-Z already?
Yep.
I did. I'm gonna say, can I tie for 5? If I would tie for 5, it would be Biggie and Pac.
Okay.
They're my 5.
Okay, I got it. Yeah, I can respect that. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I mean? But it changes a lot. It literally does, man.
Right.
I hear some stuff and I'm like, yo, this is incredible. Like there's stuff that Kendrick Lamar does that like none of those guys could do.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So I'm just like, yo, you know what I mean? So another album or so, Kendrick got to be in that discussion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think another great album and he's in there.
Yeah, because he's put out, arguably what, like 3 straight classics?
It's been like 3 straight.
I would, like for me, I would even say 4 just because Section 80.
Section 80 is incredible.
It's a classic. Like for me, I really play the hell out of that album. I probably play that project more than I play and I think To Pimp a Butterfly is it's a genius project. But I feel like Section 80 is an easier listen, right? Yeah. Because it's not as much going on, but it's still a powerful concept.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I agree with you. Yeah, I'm right there with you.
He's knocking on the door, like
yes,
you know,
he's borderline kicking the door. You know
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, so we'll shift back to comics real quick. DC or Marvel?
Marvel all day.
Okay.
Why? I think it was honestly just because of what I was exposed to. Okay. Growing up, it was always Marvel on my block. Everybody was either Spider-Man, X-Men, it was Hulk, it was Iron Man, Black Panther. Like that was always my thing. But I gotta throw Image in there. I don't know if you rock with Image.
I do.
Most of what I read right now is Image. I'm not gonna lie.
Shout out to Ronald Wonderman.
Man, yes. Walking Dead is Image. Saga, incredible. East of West, incredible. Sex Criminals. There's so much good stuff outside of the big 2 that people need to be aware of. I think some of the best writing is happening outside of those. They just don't got the big budget studios.
Yeah, it's kind of like, DC and Marvel's kind of like Crips and Bloods. You know what I'm saying? It's
you can't be down with both.
Yeah, right. And it's kind of, because I mentioned something. I'm a Marvel dude. And so I'll mention something Marvel, I'll meet a DC dude, and I feel like I just made a new enemy. Not because I have the problem, but just how they come at you. You know what I mean? And I'm like, man, y'all take this kind of serious. I feel like I should have been throwing up gang signs.
Yeah, can't you like both? I guess not.
But you can't walk in the South Central or a different part of LA and be like, we can't like both.
I like come in wearing orange.
I like red.
You come in wearing orange
or purple.
Or purple. Oh yeah, the combination. You're like, you're trying to be funny.
Right.
You know? And you might still get got.
Right.
But there's always the third option, and I always like, I'm a big wrestling fan, so everybody back in the day was always like, yo, WWF, WCW, like which one? Yeah. And I'm like, yo, I can't like Sting and The Rock.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Goldberg and Stone Cold. All time Macho Man.
Oh, okay.
Macho Man Randy Savage.
I used to do a pretty good Macho Man impression, man. I ain't gonna embarrass myself right now though. But mine was Ultimate Warrior.
Yo,
I used to love Ultimate Warrior, man.
He was so hyped, man.
Yeah.
Run into the ring.
Drop the real.
The ropes.
Drop the real. Drops are real. You know. So yeah, man. So you've been in the game, for quite at least over a decade at this point. Not including the time I'm sure you were doing music before your first record in 2006. So what are your future plans?
Man, future plans are continuing to grow, as an artist, of course, and as a human. I found it as a fun challenge to keep learning, like from younger cats, younger MCs, younger producers, getting into, production, making beats, podcasting, just creating content that will continue to live on, what I mean? I think that transitioning one day back into school, I think will be good in some way, into academia. But I want to take what I've learned in the past 10 plus years and put that into something. So I've been in talks with some folks about coming back teaching like music business classes, things like that at community college level. I would like to do that. I just want to spread my knowledge. So I'm working on writing a book. This book is coming out really great. And it's making me just keep writing. That's the main thing that's happening. It's like, keep working, because all these stories are just coming out of me. I love telling stories, and there's stories that I think will give people a good lesson, as well as, I think they're just important things to know, about anyone. And then you kind of learn things about yourself as you're writing this stuff. So it's been really cathartic for me. So yeah, I think that's it. More writing, hopefully a trip into academia, and just more content creation for me. So I think I just want to continue to build a really awesome library of stuff.
Well, you're on the right path thus far. You know?
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Curious, so I know you are from Philly originally, right?
Yes.
So how does one from Philly end up in Arizona unless they play football? You know what I'm saying? Right.
Yeah, or they're on the run.
Right. And then there's that, right?
Yeah. I was teaching, and honestly, I just felt myself getting a little stagnant. And
I got you.
I needed a change, like for my soul, my spirit. It was getting really cold, and not just like literally cold, but I felt like the people were cold. The people I was dealing with, the music, everything was really cutthroat.
Right.
And I just felt myself getting weary of the music industry and politics and all that. So when I moved, I was like, I don't even want to do music. I just want to get out of here. And I realized that where I was kind of killing my spirit, you know. And I was just like, all right, I need to step out of here. So I didn't really know where I wanted to go. You know, I was single, no kids. I was like, all right, like throwing a dart at the globe, you know, like, where do I go? So just filled out a bunch of applications and just was like, I want to teach somewhere else. And it was between Phoenix and Miami and somewhere else, but the cost of living in Phoenix was just right. And so I moved, not expecting to stay long. I signed a 1-year teaching contract, taught special ed there, and I really was moved by what I saw, you know, in those classrooms and just dealing in a state that, you know, politically doesn't always have our best interest in mind historically. You know, we remember Public Enemy.
Yeah, by the time we get to Arizona.
And that was real. That Arizona was the last state to pass the Martin Luther King holiday. And your boy John McCain was in at that time. So so anyway, a lot of politics. And I felt like, man, I got a lot of work to do. But a lot of people looked at it to me like, oh, you got to get out of there. But I felt like, no, this is where I need to be. I think this is where I need to be. So it just made me keep working and just trying to do my best to learn more about the system and the people there and what made things go and how they went. And in the process, I kind of found myself creatively again. You know, it was like, oh, this will make a good song. Oh, that'll make a good song. And I just started writing more. And really, that was where my career took off. I think just being close enough to LA to make that into a day trip if I needed to, that helped me out a whole lot. And just in general, I think the West Coast mentality is much more laid back. You know what I mean? And me coming from the East Coast, where our mentality is go, go, go. It led to a I don't know. It worked out. With me coming in, going full speed, and everybody like, yo, chill, bro. Like, I got no time to chill, and I'm just running. I'm gonna get all these. You know, so that's what it was. I was snatching them up, just being there, and being present, and being available, and being willing to hustle, like a lot of podcasts I knew weren't. So it just really worked out, and it got me to a point where I was comfortable. I met my wife there. I met some really good people and a great strong support system, and I was like, whoa, I think I'm here now. You know, and I didn't expect that at all. I thought I'd come back in a few, or maybe just keep moving to LA or something. But I feel like it's kind of where I need to be.
Right, that's dope, man. That's dope. So, if you're anything like me, I'm sure you get like, you know, message or 20 from time to time, you know, from up and comers who are looking for guidance, right? So like, you know, what advice would you have for like any up and coming artists who are trying to, you know, make a name for themselves?
Man, this one it does come a lot, but I think it's super important. I got two. One is be nice. Nobody wants to help out the a-hole who thinks he's all that. Save the bravado and the braggadocio for the records. No one wants to meet someone and try to help someone who believes that they're all that, and that they don't need the help. But if you're nice at every level, I think that'll get you further and then more opportunities and more situations than if you're good anytime. I think I'd rather deal with the nice guys willing to learn than the butthole who is like, who's great, but knows he's great and doesn't want to accept criticism and work with me. So be nice is one. Two, I think bide your time. I think it's very important to remember that you got to find mentors in this business or any business, people who have done it longer, who've been in places you haven't. Sit under them as long as you can. You know, be a help and assist to them, and learn the game before you jump in. I think that's important. I think don't be a rush to be a headliner when you can learn a lot as an opener, you know, or as a support. You know what I mean? you can learn a whole lot. So I think patience is a really clutch attribute. So I think be nice and be patient.
What's up, man? Every now and then, this is not a question I get asked a lot. I have been asked it before, and I feel like it's a great question for artists. And that question is, what is the quintessential Mega Ran song? Like, what's the song that if I were to meet someone who had never heard of Mega Ran, which just happened this week with my intern, shout out to Talib. Like he wasn't familiar, and so I had this moment where I was like, damn, what's the song to play? And so, so what's that song?
Wow, that's a good one. I think Dream Master, honestly, produced by K Murdoch on the Forever Family album.
K Murdoch.
Shout out to K,
DMV.
fellow DMV.
Yeah.
So, it tells a story. It's literally the story of how Raheem becomes Random and then Mega Ran, through 3 verses. And I love to tell stories, and of course the beginning, middle, and end is stuff that I learned and taught to middle schoolers forever. And so I do think it's the quintessential song. That's the song that I basically have based this novel I'm writing on. Taking that song, breaking it up, and being like, all right, expound on that, and that, and that. And then that's basically the blueprint to this book I'm writing. So it may just be called Dream Master. I don't even know. I haven't thought of the name yet. But Dream Master is the song, and it's kind of heart wrenching and gut wrenching at some times, because that's how life is. And when I wrote it, I thought to myself immediately, I'll never play this song live. Like, what I mean? There's some moments in it that were like, as a hip hop artist, not really a lot of people are accustomed with like bearing their soul in those ways. But I think it's important to let people know what you've been through and where you're going. So definitely Dream Master is the song that's like the song that'll tell you all you need to know about Mega Ran.
That's what's up, man. Hey man, it's been a pleasure, bro. Thank you for your time.
Yo,
man.
I appreciate you for doing this. This is dope.
Absolutely. All right. So that's it, everybody. Catch you next time. Peace.
This is the story of a boy who believed that whatever he dreamed he would come to achieve, but never in his life did he dream he could be an inspiration to those who came after he.